So, you're just dropped on an island and you have no clue what to do. Don't worry, I got the survival guide to help you get going in the beginning of Valheim. You like games like Minecraft, Terraria, you like Vikings and mythology? This game is going to be just for you. So, we've landed on the island and currently we're in the ritual spot. This is kind of going to be where you start off in the game, where you get dropped off. Also, if you die, this is going to be where you res and restart. You'll be able to go back to your body and get all of your items, so don't worry in the beginning. To get started, we're going to need to find some wood and stone. That's going to be your main materials in building everything that you need to go forward. Over here, right next to the ritual spot, you're going to start seeing some wood and some stones. You're going to want to pick up them. You can also go over to the little bushes and start whacking them down, and they'll give you a couple pieces of wood as well. Once you've obtained a couple pieces of wood and stone, you're going to want to go and hit tab. That's going to open up your crafting menu and your inventory. This is going to be the bread and butter of where we get going. So next, you're going to want to build a stone axe. That's what I would recommend before building a club. If you have the stone and you have the wood, this is going to be a better idea because you're going to be able to knock down trees with the stone axe, also defend yourself. Once you have the items, you just hit the craft button and it'll go right into your inventory slot. The numbers up here represent the numbers on your keyboard and will be little quick actions so that you can get all of your little tools out faster while getting attacked or doing things in the game. If I hit 2, I'll be able to take my axe out, and now I'll be able to hit some trees. This tree has started to skill us up in woodcutting, so that's going to be a good thing. The higher up in woodcutting you get, the more trees you'll be able to easily cut down. Also, you'll be able to cut down different trees. Once we've obtained enough stone and wood again, we'll want to be creating a hammer. A hammer is going to be how you create anything in the game, and you're going to need it to go anywhere and do anything, or build anything and go anywhere further in the game. Once you build a hammer, this is where things kind of get a little tricky. Your first objective in the game is to build a workbench. You're going to need to build this workbench, and you can't really build it in this ritual area. If you take out your hammer and hit the right click, go over to crafting, you're going to see the workbench. It's going to require 10 wood, so we'll have to get that first. As you can see, the tree will break down into different logs that also can knock down trees around you, so do be careful that you don't get hit by a tree, as that tree's running away. After breaking down the big tree, you'll see all these little logs and little planks go into your inventory. We now have 12, so we can now build our work. When going to build the workbench, you can see that you can't really put it anywhere near this ritual stone. So this is where you're going to have to start venturing off. As you can see, this giant big red area, we kind of got to get it away from the ritual stone. You can build it kind of near the ritual stone, and I would suggest staying near the ritual stone or near the vicinity. As the farther out you go, you're going to need to have to progress through the game, or you're going to get attacked by different beasts and monsters that will take away everything from you. The big problem here that I found when building my workbench is finding a flat area. As I tried to build a big house while streaming, and that didn't go too well for me. The big house was hard to build a roof on and resulted in me taking longer and longer time to get my workbench and progressing in the game. So I would suggest trying to find a semi-flat area that is near the ritual area to put down the workbench. This one kinda is iffy, so we're gonna look around for a little bit. This area should do, so let's bring out our building, go to crafting, go to the workbench, and put a workbench in the middle. Next, we're going to build walls around the workbench. The workbench has to be enclosed, so that's going to be our next task. Once you've unlocked the workbench, this is going to be the next stepping stone to progressing forward in the game. This is going to be where you can repair your weapons, make new weapons, and do all sorts of different upgrades. This is going to be where you come to kind of make everything going forward. So as you see right here on the left side, we're going to have a repair an item. Just click this. That's going to repair our hammer. Click it again. Our rag tunic, our stone axe, and the other stone axe that we made. That's how you're going to repair most of your stuff here. That will require you to have some wood and rocks, so make sure that you do have some of those on hand at all times. They're going to kind of be your bread and butter of your ingredients of making everything in the game. Now at the workbench, we'll be able to craft a hoe. A hoe is going to be a farming tool that will be able to craft different parts of the earth and make them flatter. We'll be able to build them up. It's a pretty cool item that you get to use and design kind of the land around you. It'll be used for various different things, but in the beginning of the game, I would say that you're going to use it to flatten most of the ground around you to build better housing and stuff like that. While at the workbench, I would suggest also making some wooden arrows. They can come in useful, especially if you do find a bow while out in the wild. They take 8 pieces of wood to make 20, so it's a pretty good trade-off. Once you're done here at the workbench, it's time to go out and explore. We now have weapons, we now have a way to repair the weapons, and now it's time to go out and find some food. Food's going to be the big thing for us. It supplies energy, it also gives us life. Right now in the bottom left corner, you can see we have a food meter. We also have a health meter. Our health is at 25, but it also can raise by eating different types of meats and berries. While out adventuring, you might run across a boar. Boars are going to be awesome meat and leather, so always try and kill them. This one's on the run. And we got him. Now, we're going to be able to create food with some raw meat here. He also dropped some leather scraps, which will be able to create some armor pieces later on, and a boar trophy. We'll use that for something later on in the game. Another great food is going to be berries. You're going to find these berries scattered across the land. They're going to be in different bushes. You just go up, pick them, and you'll be able to pick some of them off. If you go to our inventory, you'll see the berries in here, and you can eat the berries without cooking or doing anything with them. Right-click the berry to eat it. You'll now see in the bottom left, we have a berry there. That means you just can't eat another type of that berry for food. You can eat up to 3 different foods. While exploring, I came across some mushrooms. Mushrooms will appear, usually I find them around rocks or around tree stumps, but this one happened to be wild. You can eat a mushroom as well for health. We just spotted a deer. So what I'm trying to do is get close enough to it. If you hit left control, you can actually go into sneak mode. This will allow you to get closer to the deer while being quiet, hopefully giving you the chance to get an attack on it. Without a bow and arrow, it is pretty hard to catch the deer because you have to run across and go after them. It kind of gets tedious. While sneaking up trying to find the deer, it looks like we're coming across a bunch of boars here. These are going to be great to slay. They're going to provide a lot of food, and they're going to provide a lot of scraps. Be careful on these sides of the mountains, as you can use shift to run and get back up them. Make sure you have stamina. While back at our hut, you're going to want to create a fire. A fire is going to be how we cook some of our meats. So, by going back to our hammer, right-clicking, we're going to be able to make a fire. After we've created a fire, we're going to need some of these cooking stations. If you place them just right, you can place 2 over a fire and have both of them cook at the same time. It does take a little practice just to place them the right way. Be careful of the logs as well. As you can see, just rolling into them can sometimes damage you. Next, get off our hammer, come over here, and put the cooking on here. We don't have enough cookable items, it looks like. So, it looks like we only have 1. So, right now, we're going to watch this meat cook. When the meat is done, it will make a sizzling noise. Our meat's done, and we popped it off, and we're ready to eat it. Eating meat will give you the most health in the game I've found so far. As you can see on our bottom left, it looks like our berries are about to run out, so we'll be able to consume another one. These, right here you can see we have 3 types of food being ate at the same time, and our health is rising. As well as our stamina should be rising at the same time. From this point, you have the basic things that you're going to need to get the game started. You have the tools now to build a little house if you want. I would suggest early game not building something too big, because you may move to a different area closer to different parts of the land that you explore into. My biggest suggestion here is start small, explore around, and see what you can. Use the markers on your map to kind of guide where you are and find your way across this map. You'll find different areas that you think might suit the type of player that you are. As for me, I like to mine. I like to use the water areas a lot. So I found an area close to a river where there's a lot of mining supplies as well. Every player will have their own type of play and feel to this, but just find yours and you should have fun. One of the biggest tips and tricks that I can give going from here is be careful of the logs and the trees. The trees are kind of unpredictable, and when they do fall, they cause a chain reaction. As I did knock down this big tree, which knocked down that big tree and that tree and that tree, and they all did fall, and I did get splattered by one that hit another one. So do be careful about that because they do have some sort of physics and they will bounce all over the place. The nice thing is that they actually break down the logs, like in other games they don't do anything. From this point on, it's really about finding a deer. You're going to want to hunt down deer, but it's pretty hard to get close to deer. As you saw earlier, we tried to get towards that deer, and we found boar, and boar don't run. As you can see in front of me right now, there's a deer. We're going to slowly kind of walk up and creep near it. By hitting control, you can go into that sneak form, and by hitting C, you can enter a walk form. There's a doe in front of us. Our goal is to kind of kill this deer and see what we can get out of it. They'll supply meat and a skull that we'll need for the game. With the sneak ability, I was able to get really close to that deer without it noticing me. One of the big enemies in the game you can see ahead of us right now. The Greylings are going to be a form of enemy across the game. These ones are pretty easy to take apart. Now that you guys have the basics, hopefully this guide will help you out going on in your journey. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and many more to come. Next adventure, we will be hitting up bosses, dungeons, and much more. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out any more of the great Valheim. We'll see you all next time. Peace.